وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن محمد أيها الهادي النقي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها الزكي العسكري يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا وصي الحسن والخلفاء الحجة أيها الغائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا يا سادتي وموالي إني توجهت بكم عمتي وعدتي اليوم فقري وحاجتي إلى الله واستشفعت بكم إلى الله فاشفعوا لي عند الله واستنقذوني من ذنوبي عند الله فإنكم وسيلتي إلى الله وبحبكم وبقربكم أرجو نجاة من الله فكونوا عند الله رجائي يا سادتي يا أولياء الله صلى الله عليهم أجمعين ولعن الله أعداء الله ظالميهم من الأولين والآخرين آمين رب العالمين صلوات
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. Today we will talk about a subject which becomes very important for all who are concerned about the values of Islam, the values of identity, of culture, and who affected most of us, if not directly, indirectly. This is the concept of the sexuality education. The sexuality education is an expression used or enforced this year for the lectures or for the way which this subject, the sexuality, has been introduced in the studying of our children. The concept started many years ago. It's not started this year. But this year is the first year in Quebec where this subject becomes compulsory, obligatory. So for all who have children or who are concerned about this, they need to know what is the background of this program and what is the history of this, why this subject was introduced, what are the steps that has been taken in order to make this education obligatory for all children, what are the concepts that included in this program, whether they are good or bad. We don't say that all of this program is bad, whether they are good or bad. And for those who want to exempt their children from this study, how will they behave legally in order to exempt their children, taking them off the lessons, or how to behave internally within the family, between the parents and the children, how to behave in order to minimize the effects of this program on the life of the children, on what they are thinking of, or on what they are behaving, because this program is affecting the way that the children will understand the sexuality and the sexual relationship. So let's start with why is this program. I prepared a PowerPoint presentation. This presentation was based on the PowerPoint prepared by the Director General of Al-Khoei School, Madame Al-Khoei. I translated actually and with some changes to English, to Arabic. The original one is in French. So why is this program? The Canadian society, the Canadian people, Canadian young people, youth, are facing different types of pressure from different angles. One of the problems I read within the website of the Ministry of Education, why they are imposing this program, why they are enforcing this program this year. They said that this program is a result of many studies within their environment, within their enterprises, within the ministry itself, in order to see what is the response that the educational authorities should take in order to force something which is we knew that it is always there. The fact that our children, starting maybe from before the elementary, before 6 years, they are using the media, they are using the internet, they are using the search engines, they are using different types of contacts which are not, most of them actually, are not prepared for that type of age, for that type of mentality. So they said that because our children are facing these things and they are seeing these things, they are living with these things, we need, that's their opinion, by the way. I'm talking about their opinion. If there is something that I want to have some comments on that, then I'll say this is my comment, or this is our discussion about this. So their point of view is saying that because the children are facing these things, and because some of these things are conveyed in a way that is not a rightful way. That mean, for example, if I'll make something which is bad, making good to you. For example, what is happening in the games that the children are playing. Actually, the games are not an innocent games. The games, there are many concepts that are introduced in these games in order to make the children violent. And you saw many of the, for example, shooting a child or a kid, shooting his teacher, his colleagues, many of the violation even against the law, showing that, for example, in most of the games, for example, if we take the car race game, they are showing that whenever you want to win, you have the right to violate everything. You have the right to make a collision with others. You have the right to cross the sidewalk. You have the right to violate the, for example, the traffic lights. So when they show the children that whatever you want, all other regulations, all other rules are not important. So they make the mentality of the children very violent. So these games are not innocent. Of course, this is on this level. Actually, most of the media, we have to take care of it. That's very important. If you saw now the unrest in Iraq, in Lebanon, maybe they tried in Iran also, the unrest was a result of some of the effects that come from the media or come from even from the cinema. You heard, for example, about the movie that's called Joker. The movie is a new movie. It was released in October 2019, just in the right time they want. The Joker himself, even I'm going aside from the main subject, but just to show you that these things actually affecting not only our children, affecting us also. So this movie is talking about a personality who was neglected, who was not taken care of. And then this personality started to revenge against the society, against everything. In the movie, the Joker himself started his revenge by killing his mother, and then go to the all that he feel they do unjust for him. So this concept now is widely used actually. In Lebanon and in Iraq, there are some people who having the face of the Joker, even by painting their faces or putting a mask, and then started influencing the people, even the innocent people, innocent colleagues, and that's it. So what I'm saying is that yes, these new games, the media, the movies are always have a message. not always a bad message, but it has a message, and we should take care of. Now, return back to our subject. Why is this? They said that the concepts that the children are taking about the sex and sexual relationships are conveyed in a wrongful way. So they claim, as their opinion, they claim that they are putting the what we can say, putting the train on the track. They putting the concepts, they giving them the concepts in the way that they understand it, and which is they consider it safe. So this is why they said, why they put this program. Now, would you please turn the slide? So the problematic causes of this, which is we start from the dangerous concepts that was embedded in this program. One, they said the 70% of the sexual assault, sexual effects are coming from the family. They said we need to change the relationships within the family in order to not to make the parents affecting the sexual desire of the children. So, for example, they consider when some girl, for example, a young kid girl, she stayed till late in the night and she make some boyfriends. They said that if the father or the mother telling her that this is wrong, you have to take care of, this is, for example, from the religious point of view, this is not allowed, Allah will punish you, this has many side effects. When they tell her that, they consider this as a sexual harassment, and this now become a crime, and the girl now can go to the police and said, oh, my father or my mother or my brother is harassing me, please save me from that. So this, they said, one of the causes is the family relationships, the relationships within the family. Other thing, you can now imagine how dangerous this concept is. Other thing is that they said that the new, it's not new, but the new legalized relationships, which is the homosexuality, or that means the gays or lesbians, these are, which we consider them as not only haram, but not it's not accepted. It's against the nature of the human being. They said the families which are unisexual families, two fathers or two mothers, these families are not being accepted within the society. Why? Because the children that they adopt, they cannot, of course, naturally have children, but the children that they adopt feel that there is something missing for them because they are coming from families which are non-usual families. So they said because of that's their opinion, because of the wrongful way of thinking against these families, this way of living, people are not looking good to those guys. So those guys are feeling as they are, let's say, oppressed. So by this way, they said that in order to give them, those guys, the children and the unisexual families, in order to give them the legality, in order to be integrated within the society, we have to change our way of thinking, way of giving the education to the children in order to make it acceptable. So they want to convert the natural natural feeling of the people. So this is they said why we put this program, why we put this program. Of course, all of this information, if you want more information, you can go to the website, whether in French or in English, of the Ministry of Education. There is many pages talking about that. I read most of them. Now, the content, the third slide, please, the other slide. the content of the preschool. They said this program will be given in the preschool, I mean in the the preschool, and in the elementary school, and in the secondary school. So you can imagine elementary 6 and secondary 5 plus the preschool, which is 1. We are talking about 12 years of feeding the children with these concepts. It's not the children and adolescent, giving them these concepts in order to change how they think, how they behave in the future. So the thing here is the preschool is optional, although it's very, very serious, but now it is optional. Maybe it becomes compulsory, obligatory in the future, but now it is optional. So they said if they will give that material for the children within the year of 5 years, this is for 5 years old, they'll tell them or talk to them about the human and sexual growth, and they will talk about freely about all the body parts, and they will start feeding them about the feelings. You know that the children in this age, 5 years, they did not understand. They don't have the capability of understanding these feelings because it did not started with them. So they want to give them the expressions, the explanation about these feelings and needs. So, and they will talk about the pregnancy stages, starting from the oval and the fetus and fertilization, and then up to the child within the womb of his mother, and then the delivery of the children, then after that what's happening. So they are talking about the pregnancy, including the reception of the child. Now the next slide please. If we will move to the first compulsory, that means in the first year of the elementary school, it becomes obligatory, compulsory. So if we move to that, then they'll be more specific in giving the information. One of them is the dimensions of the sexuality. That means now they will be distinguishing between a boy and a girl. So they will give the dimensions of the body, and they will talk all about the differences between them. Of course, all of this will be with pictures, will be with explanatory materials like banners, like brochures or different things. So they'll talk about that, and they will start in this age, in this very early age, to talk about the gender. Now I'll talk about what they mean by the gender in the next slides. And then they will talk about the sexual organs, especially the sexual organs of the body. And then they will talk about interpersonal relationships. They will speak to them about what they mean. They mean, not us, what they mean by the interpersonal relationships. So they will start giving the concepts. They will start giving the things in this early, very early 6 year. We know that 6 year, even the girls are not ready to understand that, but they'll start from this age. Of course, when you are starting to give the children something which they are not well prepared for, then the concept that they will build in their minds will be as they want. Now, after that, it will be very, very hard to change this concept. So that's why they started from the first years in order to put these concepts in the minds of the children. Moving to the other slide, please, about the second year. Now, they'll continue about the dimensions of the body, but it will be more precise, and they will talking about the indexes of recognizing different types of sexual assault. Now they will start putting the concept of sexual assault or sexual harassment. By the way, the concept of sexual harassment is not only now important in this material that they are giving, but it becomes very important in the all relationships. For example, the relationships within work. In our work, for example, they gave us a training about someone how he need to behave in order not to consider this as a sexual harassment. It becomes, actually I don't want to go more in this because this itself need a lecture. How can we deal with the concept of sexual harassment that we can face any time? For example, one of our friends was driving in his lane and he want to turn left. He is in the left lane and he want to turn left. And then there was a lady with her car who violate his lane and come towards him. Then he told her, why you are doing that? Finished. The story till now is finished. She complained to the police that this is a sexual harassment. Although any one of us can do that. If you, for example, in the training that they gave us in the work, if you tell your colleague, by the way, not needed to be you as a man tell a woman, or a woman tells a woman, or a woman tells a man. It might be a man telling his friend, his man friend, in the work that there is something in your body. This is a sexual harassment, and this guy can be expelled from work, taken off from work, because he is harassing his friend. So what I meant that this concept we need to take care of. One of the things that of the sexual harassment, when I see this innocent baby here, and I like to express my feelings toward her or toward her father, I might kiss the baby to express that I love him. This is a sexual harassment. Try not to do that anywhere, by the way, anywhere. If it is not within your family, try not to do that anywhere. Now this is considered a sexual harassment. You are not allowed even not to kiss the baby. You are not allowed even not to touch the baby. Don't touch the baby. So this concept now becomes very important for us as adults to understand and to deal with. So as I said, the sexual harassment needs more than what we are talking about. So now returning back to our syllabus about what is given in the sexuality education, from the second year, that means the child or the girl is now 7 years old. The second year, they started talking about the assault, or the concept of assault, or the concept of harassment. So this will make the boy or the girl very sensitive, very agitated, because it might consider anything as harassment. It might she or he might not understand what you meant by your innocent behavior, but this will become a problem. The problem comes not between you as a stranger to that boy or girl. The problem becomes inside the family. Inside the family, they gave the children a phone number, and they gave them the instructions that if you feel that your father, your mother, your brother, your sister even is harassing you, sexually harassing you, just call this number and that's it. They'll take it. They'll take the girl or the boy from this family. They'll give a warning to their father or mother not to be close to him 500 meters, and that's it. So this concept will cut down the relationships between the father and mother, because it will put new rules within the family. That's the danger of, that's the importance of in understanding these concepts we are living with now. So, going to the third year, the next step, please. Yes. So now this we are talking about an age of 9. In the age of 9, they will start talking about the gender. What do you mean by the gender? The gender is a concept that is given to the children that, okay, you are created as a boy and you are created as a girl. But this did not mean, this, please pay attention. This did not mean that that's it, you are a boy and you are a girl. You have to feel as if, even if you are a boy, you have to feel, you can feel, not have to, you can feel as if you are, if it's a boy, as if you are a girl, or a girl as if you are a boy. So they change the natural feeling. Allah put this natural feeling in order to make the people, the woman towards the men towards the woman, the attraction, the natural attraction, in order to create a family, and this is the natural way of increasing the population. But this concept of gender is saying that no, you are not, you have not the right. You can feel that if you are a girl, as if you are a boy. Not only that, if you choose after that to change your gender, the society, the law is giving you the right to that. They'll give you some hormones. They'll give you some, I think $25,000 in order to pay for changing this. So now this concept of gender becomes very dangerous. Why? Because it will make it very easy to do the homosexual relationships, because now there's no limit between being a boy or a man. Let's say after that, a man with a feeling of a man, or a man with a feeling of a woman, or vice versa, a woman feeling like a woman, which is natural, or a woman feeling like a man. That's by this way they will encourage having the unisexual relationships, as if this is a boy, this is a man, but he's feeling like a woman, and this is a man who's feeling like a man. Then they can make a family, and the other concept, and that's it. So this is the dangerous concept of a gender. They started in this program. They started giving this concept at 9 years old. When you know that 9 years old in the Sharia, the girl will become mukallaf. That means will become a woman with all obligations of the woman, starting from hijab, starting from doing the worship like salah, saum, ila akhirih, so on. So from that time, they'll feed them with these concepts. Now, going to the secondary school, that means in Quebec, they are not talking about years, first, second. They are talking about cycles. Cycle 1 in the elementary, it is the first and the second. Cycle 2 is the third and fourth. Cycle 3 is the 5th and 5th and 6th. Then we will move to the secondary. Cycle 1 and 2 secondary, and then cycle 2, cycle 3. So moving to first cycle of the secondary. That means now we are talking about a boy or a girl with 13 years old. 13 years old, first cycle in the secondary. Now, as the children become older, now there is a way for the feelings, for the relationships. So the first thing that they do in the secondary school, the first secondary, is to talk about the concept of adolescence. The concept of adolescence. That means we know that a child, kid, adolescent, and adult. So adolescent is between 12 and 19. So they will start talking about the concept of adolescence, which they feed all of the concepts of freedom, sexual behavior, sexual concepts. They give all of this, as we can see, we see in the streets now for 12, 13, 14, 15, so on, boys and girls, maybe late in the night, maybe they took alcohol, maybe they took drugs, they smoking, doing everything. That's in front of us, and there are other things. So they start giving this concept. They start feeding the children with this concept. And then they'll give the concept of puberty. Puberty means that the being a complete woman or a complete man with all of the behavior and feelings. And then they start also, that mean in the second part of the cycle, that mean in the secondary school, that mean we are talking about 14 years, they'll start the concept of dating between boys and girls, girls and girls, boys and boys. So they start this concept. I'll not go in detail in this because some of them are very strange to deal with. But just to explain to you how important to understand this program. So and the concepts of relationships and the concept of sexual activities, they start teaching the children the sexual activities. The child, the boy or the girl in this age is like a bomb of feelings, full of energy. And when you gave them these concepts in a way or another, that means you are in a way or another encouraging them to make these relationships a haram relationships in our concepts. Now moving to the second cycle, which is the secondary three, they now will talk about the benefits of making sexual relationships, as if, and you know, in this society, in this area, when someone, boy or girl, they reach 18 and they did not do any sexual relationship, they call them virgin boy or virgin girl. They found it very strange. They asked him, why you are so complicated. You till now, as the girl became, till now it is a virgin, or the boy till now he did not make any relationships. So now they are talking about the benefits of the sexual relationships, and then they will be talking about the desire. They will feed the desire in order to. We know that in this age we are talking about secondary 3, that means 15, the year of 15. They talk about the desire. They'll show them how important the desire is, and then when they create all of this. Look, this is the way that they are thinking. When they create all of this, now they are creating as if you are putting a fuel on a fire. The fire become very violent, and now, oh, it is violent, we have to start regulating it. They forget that they already created the violence in the mentality of the boys and girls. So now they will start talking about the protective methods, as if there are relationships, how I can protect myself from going to the diseases like for example, HIV, or other diseases that's coming from wrongful sexual relationships. So now we realize we created this situation. We have to do some remedies, do some changes in order to control that. While in the Sharia, with all due respect, with all due understanding, in our Sharia, they in the Quran or in the speeches of Ahlul Bayt, they told us to give them these things, yes, but in a way that it will be very respectful. It will be controlled. Allah always is monitoring. You yourself is monitoring. Your father, your mother, all of them are monitoring your behavior, your feelings towards the stage that you can safely do these things. Now, in this concept of sexuality education, they make it free, and then they said, okay, you have to control what we already created. Then, in the fourth, the next slide, in the second cycle, they started in the secondary 4, yes, to talk about the concept of violence. Now, we created a situation of violence within the chests of the children or kids at that age, and then we will say, okay, don't behave in a violent way. So they created this, and they asked them to control their violence. So they created the problem, and they are now seeking for solutions. And then they said, okay, if you do sexual relationships, there are some consequences, like children, babies, what we call them illegal babies in our concept. Of course, they are legal in their concept. So how can we deal with the consequences, whether it is babies in this early age, we are talking about secondary 4, I mean 16 years old, or there are the diseases, the HIV disease, or the liver diseases, or other diseases that are transferred by the sexual relationships. The last slide, the next slide please. The last slide will, that means talking about secondary 5, which is the last year that they give this. They'll talk about, okay, you can live well with these sexual relationships. There are risk of pregnancy, risk of virus context of active life sex, and there are ethical issues. Now they realize, you can imagine, now they are feeding 12 years of these concepts, and then after 12 years, they are saying, oh, okay, you should think of ethical things. Okay, where were you from the ethical things at the beginning, when you already planted these concepts in the chest of the children, in the mind of the children? So now they are talking about ethical issues, which is too late to talk about. So now with this, we complete explaining the syllabus of the sexuality education. Now, how will they give this material or this thing to the children? What is the way that they are proposing in order to give this to the children? They said there are two methods. The choice is for the school to choose one of the two methods, whether it is direct or indirect. What do you mean by that? Direct? The direct method, they'll specify 5 to 15 hours spread through the semester in order to give them a concentrated lessons about the sexuality education. That means they'll put the children in one class, and there will be someone talking about the sexuality education. One of the problems why this program, the sexuality education, was delayed in Quebec is that the objection of the teachers, not objections, they did not consider seriously the objections of Muslims or Jews or It's a religious, even religious Christians. They they are talking about their children. They said there was no well-trained teachers in order to give this concept. This concept, they said, and I hear in the media and the radio, mothers are talking about how can I guarantee that there is a teacher who is not well trained, who is not educated to give this concept of the sexuality to my boy or to my girl. He will definitely transfer his own idea, his own thoughts, his own beliefs, which might not be suitable. So they look to that. That's why they delay this, making this program obligatory until they give training to the teachers, to some teachers, in order to deliver this material. So the direct method, there should be one of the teachers who is well trained to deliver, to teach this material, and they'll talk about one syllabus material called sexuality education. So they're giving it directly. There is another way, which is, of course, when they'll give it directly. The other slide, please. When they giving it directly, there should be some ways in order to deliver this, whether it is some videos or some photos or some brochures or something like that. So they should be well prepared in order to give them in the modern, effective teaching strategies. They call it modern, effective teaching strategies. So one of the modern teaching strategies that they are using for this, or if you saw in some movies, they are using it for people with special needs. For example, for those who has suffering of loss of one of their beloved people, they put them in a group, and they think that when you are in a group of people who have the same problem, for example, a group of people have cancer, for example, when they put them together, every one of them will feel, oh, okay, I'm not special in this group. All of them has the same thing. So they start talking and they start expressing themselves, and then they start integrating between each other. So they said that, okay, for the sexuality education, we can use the same strategy. They put them in groups, of course, groups when we say mixed groups, and then every one of them will express his feeling, and whoever is expressing more, you'll get the admiration. So they will encourage them to express their feelings about sexual, and you can imagine this will excite the others, and this will encourage them to make interrelationships. So this is the direct method. The other slide, please. The indirect method. The indirect method is more, by the way, I cannot say dangerous, but it is hard to deal with the indirect method. You can't deal with the direct method. Why? Because when you say that I don't want my child to be in this class, you are taking him out of this class. But the indirect method is spreading this education on the other materials. For example, when I'll give the children a piece of for example, a story in French. The material is French. I'm teaching French. But instead of telling them a story about someone who is working in a bank, or someone who is doing this work, or an engineer or something, I'll give them a story about sexual relationships. And I'll ask them, okay, to understand it and answer the questions and so on and so. This is in French. In the science also, instead of giving them lectures about the scientific behavior of so and so, I'll put it as one of the materials. So this way, you cannot take the children out of this material, because it is embedded within all the important syllabus or reported materials they are taking. So this is the indirect method. Of course, for the indirect method also they will give them with the art or with the music or with other materials they are taking, they are giving them, they are feeding them in a different way, indirect method. Even in the mathematics, the other slide please. Even in the mathematics, they are giving them problem solving instead of solving a problem of one who went to the supermarket and buy this material and this things and what is the how much he has to spend or so and so. No, we will recreate another example in mathematics about sexual education. So it will be within the mathematics. You cannot take your child out of the mathematics. So now these are the two methods about how this material will be or is now given. Actually, we are now in the end of the first semester that is given. This material started in September 2019 as a obligatory for all. Now, so what are the challenges? The next slide, please. What are the challenges that we are facing with this? You know that Islam and our culture identity is not against teaching or giving these concepts. They are essential in the life, but our objection is about, first of all, the way they are giving this concept, the time they are giving this concept, and how are they explaining. Usually, for example, in our culture, even in our religion, it's the duty of the mother to explain to her daughter privately when the daughter becomes adolescent, when her body starts to change. It is the even other changes that are happening with the girl. So it's the duty of the mother to explain to her daughter privately, yes, this is natural, don't be afraid, this you have to deal with in this way, in a very respective and within the religion. But in this concept, they are giving it publicly, they are giving it within a society of boys and girls. So they make them feel that, oh, this is natural. I have a boyfriend. The girl said, I have a boyfriend. This is natural. Even the boy has another boyfriend. This is natural. They said it is natural. So the way that they are giving against the cultural considerations or religious considerations, or even the way that they are teaching them the homosexual concepts, they are making them think that, oh, this is very natural and you have all the right to do that. Not only that, anyone who objected that. By the way, if I will return back to the concept of sexual harassment, if you say that now by the law, if you say that I am against the homosexuality, this is a sexual harassment. If you say to someone, that means you are harassing him, you are enforcing him to understand, to deal with your concepts. This is a sexual harassment. So that's why I said the sexual harassment itself need a lecture. How will we behave? I gave that lecture in Arabic because I feel that this is my duty to make my friends, my relatives, my colleagues, to make them understand the concept. How will they deal? What will they face? And as I said, maybe others will shed some light on this issue. So the challenge is that they are giving the concepts which we are already giving, which we are living with, but in a way that is against our culture, against our identity, against our religion. Now, people, fathers, mothers, others may say, okay, you gave us all of this, thank you. What shall we do? How to deal with this now? you know, the other slide, please. We know that we are living in a well-educated, democratic society. So the way is not to violent objection. No, we have to react in a way that is within the law, within the culture. We have to react in a way that not to show our children to be aggressive. I'll give you an example. When they started giving this, my son asked me, "Okay, father, you know about it, I know about it. What do you advise me? How can I behave with this?" I told him that's very simple. You already passed through many experience within this type. This is not the first thing that they are trying to give you. What I'm saying, this is one of the ways. I'm not creating something new, but this is one of the ways how you can deal with your boy or with your child, with your girl, with your daughter, how to deal with it in a calm way, in a way that they'll understand. So I told them, okay, you are living with your friends, whether they are boys or girls in the school, but you know that they are drinking alcohol. Are you drinking alcohol? He said, no. Why you are not drinking alcohol? Because it's haram. Because we are not taught, we are not allowed to drink alcohol. Okay. Then you have 1 point now. You have 1 point. You conquer. You go over this wrongful concept, but you are still like live with your friends, like them, deal with them, but in this particularity, drinking alcohol, you are not with them. With all due respect, I gave him another example, which was very effective, by the way. I told him, okay, some of the candies has wine, and we know that some of them has wine or has gelatin, which is not halal. Are you eating these things, candies? He said, no. Why? Because there's something haram in it. Okay, so now you can distinguish between what is halal and haram. You can distinguish what is harmful for you and what is useful for you. This is also, this concept is like this. This concept is, if you feel that it is harmful for you, then deal with it as something in the school you have to deal with within the school, and then that's it. Don't apply it in your life. Don't apply it in your mind. Deal with it as if you are seeing someone or some lady in the street who is, especially in summer. For example, I gave him this example, who is in summer like wearing as if she are wearing nothing. How do you behave against this, with this? He said, I'm not looking to her, let's say, precisely. Why? Because it's haram. Okay, this is something you are seeing in the street. This is something you are seeing in the school. We should, that's my point, what's to do. I'm talking about what's to do inside the family. And there is something I'll speak about in the other slides. What's to do for our children in the school? What is the legal way? How we can deal with this way? So that's why we as fathers, mothers, even friends of the father or the mother within the family, we should encourage the children, boys or girls, to have their own opinion, but we should guide this opinion towards our culture, our religion, our identity. We should not let them be lost within this concept and they don't know what to deal with. Let me tell you frankly, when this started, that was in the beginning of this year, we started a group of people and some educated people, some lawyers. We started working on this in order to find the legal way how to deal with, in in order to find the social way how to deal with, in order to find, to create some lectures how to deal with. You know, and we should put this in mind, by the way. There are some people, Muslim people, who said that, oh, this is not good. Let them learn whatever they give them. This is their life, they have to live their life. So, okay, if you are dealing with your children in this way, so don't worry. This is not the only thing that they are doing. They are doing different things. So we are targeting, we are talking to the fathers and mothers who want to build a family within our culture, within our concept, but the family who is productive in this society, the family who is not violent against others, the family who is understanding, and there is a room for that. There is a way to do that. There are many people within this society, what I mean, Iranian, Iraqi, Lebanese, Syrian, whatever it is, Muslim societies. There are very people who are very distinguished in their living with the others. Professors in the universities, doctors, engineers, lawyers, even police officers, they are all within the society, serving the society, and they maintain their culture, maintain their religion. This is doable. So we have to be positive in dealing with our children. That's from one side. But my main point, please, from the other side, Imam Zain al-Abidin, Salatullah Salam alayhi, he said that when we tried, of course he is not talking about himself or talking about us, when we try to grow our children, to teach our children, we are teaching ourselves first. You cannot tell your child, for example, not to lie while you are lying. You cannot tell your child to do worship, to do salah or psalm or other worships while you are not doing that. So in order to give them the concept, you should be the first who apply that concept. So for this point, particularly the sexuality education, we as adults, we should first of all understand what is the program. We, the adults, should know how to deal with it in order to teach our children how to deal with it. So we should start by ourselves and then transfer or convey the message to our children. Not in this, by the way, not in the sexuality education. In everything we want to teach our children, we want to give the concept to our children, we should do or apply it on ourselves. You cannot tell your child not to lie while when someone is knocking the door and you are inside the house and you tell your child, okay, go tell him I am not here. The behaviors are more strongful in teaching than the speech. So this is important. So we have to start with ourselves. This is a load. I cannot say that this is easy. This is a load. This is something hard to understand, to deal with, but that's why we are here. We are in a Western environment, and we have to, in order to keep our culture, in order to keep our religion, we have to do more creative things. When we were in our original societies in Iran or in Iraq, there was many things that was helping us in order to keep our children within these concepts. The society all over us, our relatives, his uncle, his grandfather, grandmother, everyone is within this understanding. Here, it is an aggressive environment. Everything is attacking now, and we have to keep as if someone has a diamond, and there are many people who want to steal it, and we have to keep it. We have to be more cautious, more careful in keeping this. So dealing with this issue is one of these challenges that we are living in life. So we need to be so clever how we can deal with it, and please don't be aggressive against your children when they are telling you. This is very important. You have to keep open channels between you and your children. You have to keep always open channels. You have to make the child feel comfortable when he's telling you, oh, there is something happened in school. Don't laugh when he's talking. Don't misvalue him. Don't behave with him as if he's something negligible. By this way, you are cutting the ways, you are opening, you are closing the channels between you and your children, and he will not tell you again. And if he will not tell you, be sure that he will be telling another one. Whether he's a boy, he'll try to find another boy or another girlfriend or another I don't know who might not give him the rightful instructions. So try always to be patient, to keep open channels between you and between the children. Now I don't want to take more of your time. I'll go directly to the next slide of what to do. Now we talk about what to do within the family. Now what to do between us as fathers and mothers and the school. First of all, I will have to tell you that even within this compulsory program, there are some rooms of freedom. For example, they gave the freedom to the schools that are religious nature, originally religious nature, not private schools. Schools which with a religious nature, like Al-Khoei school, for example, this school here. It has a religious nature. They gave these schools, even the Jewish religious schools or the Christian religious schools, they gave them the choice to give this material, but in their way, in their concept. So it is, if you are afraid that you cannot control this, you can register your child in the Al-Khoei school or something like it, in order to control the content that it is giving to your child. Now, so the first solution, how to deal with it, is to go to the schools with the religious nature that they can control. They have the right to control the content or how to deliver this material. The other thing is that if the school will choose to give this material, this education, in a direct method. We said if they choose to give it in an indirect method, you cannot control, because it is within the materials. You cannot take your child out of all materials. But if they choose to give it within the direct method, you will receive a letter from the school saying that, oh, Mr. X, we will start giving the sexual education to your child in this way. So you will receive a letter. Once you receive the letter, you will have to respond. You will have to respond, not to put it aside and say, okay, that's not important. If you want to exempt, that means take your child out of this material, you have to respond. You have to tell the school right away that I am the father of this child, or this boy or girl. I don't want them to be in this class. This is only the first step. What's the next step? You have to so we said, first of all, you have to inform the school. The second thing is you have to give valid reasons why you are taking your child out of this. There are two ways in the law. There are two ways that will enable you to take your child off. Other than that, it is not doable. If you say that, if you go and say that, oh, our religion is not allowing us, they will not accept that. Our culture is not allowing. You have to behave within the Canadian laws, within the Canadian Chart of Rights. You know that we have in 1982, we have the Chart of Rights. Within this, if you can prove that this material, the sexual education, will be against one of these rights, then they will say yes. We asked, and others asked lawyers how to deal with it. There are two ways. First, you have to prove that this is against the meaning of the opinion. You have the right, you have the freedom for opinion here, according to the rights. So you have to prove that it is either against the opinion, the freedom of opinion, or it will affect the mentality of the mentality of the child. Within the freedom, you cannot do that. You cannot, as a father, saying that, oh, I think that this is a violation of the freedom of the which will cause either we said violating of freedom or psychological harm. If you want to prove that it is against the freedom, you have to bring this a letter from a lawyer saying that, referring to a material, I put it in there and I read it. It is the CQLR chapter C26. CQLR. I will leave a copy of this presentation with Brother Jawad here in the computer also. So if any one of you want, I can either leave these papers for you or you can take notes about it. So you will put it on the website. That's great. So you should refer to the professional code CQLR chapter C26, or you can, if you are claiming that this will cause a psychological harm to your child, because you said that we are teaching him our culture in the house, in the family, we are giving him certain culture and you are giving another culture, and this will cause a psychological harm, contradiction. You have to provide also a report from a psychologist. So either from a psychologist if you are talking about psychological harm, or from a lawyer if you are talking about the violence of the professional code. So one of them. So now I'll repeat, this is important, this is the conclusion. There are three ways to deal with this. One is to deal with it, as we said, within the family, within the concept that you are giving to the family, to your children. Be patient with them, teach them, understand, teach them, behave in the same way. That's the number one. This is within the family. Out of the family, you can either put the child in a school which is identified as a religious school, like Al-Huda school here, or you can claim that this is against the professional code within this material, or this against the this will cause psychological harm, and you should bring a proof to that. These things should happen after, when you receive the letter. After receiving the letter and you inform the school that I object, then work on providing these documents, and then your child will be legally exempted, taking off this material without any harm on his education, other materials. I hope that I did not take much of your time. I hope that I was clear in my explanation, and to this we will end the lecture of today. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. If someone has a question, we can answer the question. Otherwise, I thank you for your listening. Yes, brother. Psychological harm or professional code. From the subject. So the subject. You should not provide both of them, each of them. Either the psychological harm with a report from a psychologist, or you said it will affect the professional code, the rights, the essential rights, with a letter from the lawyer. One of them. Yeah, that's that. Then we will retreat towards what? Towards our family education, our concept, how to we should teach our children how to deal with this, as the example I gave, how to deal with this as if one of the things that we are seeing in the society in our life, and we are not applying it. The example that I gave, for example, drinking alcohol, doing relationships, eating haram things, all of this, our children are doing that, and they are strong enough to do that. Okay, this is another challenge. You can face it. If you have anything, just come tell me or tell your mother, and then we will deal with it. And that's the best way. That's the best way. Go ahead. Yes. First of, of First of all, there are many actions actually taken within this time. One one of the actions of which was strong, as I said, came from the union of teachers, because the teachers said, okay, we are not well prepared to give that. That was effective in delaying the program 1 year. It was supposed to be given in 2018. It was delayed to 2019. But in 2019 also, there was many steps. For example, there was a group of, which is very nice, a group of mothers. Uh, Three of them are Lebanese. I saw them. Uh, those mothers, they said, okay, we are mothers, but we study in Canada. We born in Canada, we live in Canada, we study in Canada. So no one will tell us you are strange to this society. We know it, we live here. And those three mothers go through the legal way. They went to the parliament member of their area, and they told him, okay, we are one of your constituents, we object. We want you to convey this message to the Assembly Nationale of Quebec. And then they have to wait, and they work very patiently until they were able to put that as a questionnaire in the website of the Assembly Nationale. And then the Assembly Nationale told them, okay, you have to get at least 5,000 people who agree about what you are saying in order for us to discuss this in the Assembly Nationale. This is the way. So they put it. I myself entered the website of the Assembly Nationale. That was in March 2019 and before March. Let me tell you frankly, unfortunately, with all of our lectures and telling people, telling friends, we were hardly getting one by one by one. When you sign, all what you need is to put your name and address. When you sign, they'll say, okay, now it is 2,815. When you sign, it becomes 16, 17. It was very hard to get 4,000, not 5,000. Then they said, okay, we will discuss this, but can't you feel that when they say, oh, it's only 4,000 people, it's not even 20,000, it's not even 200,000 Muslims who are here. They are not let's say, reacting with that. That's one of the problems that we face with this issue, and with the other laws. Before, it was the law against the Islamophobia, and before that, and now the law 21. You heard about the law 21. It's very dangerous. Yes. So once they conquer our desire in that sexuality education, they said, okay, here is law 21. Here is another law. They are all dangerous. We need I think this should be one of the messages of these centers, even if it is Islamic centers. It is centers for us to discuss, to exchange ideas. You know something I don't know, or I know something others don't know. I will give you my ideas, and we will enrich our ideas. We will work together. So I think it's important for us to talk about it. Not only that, my idea, that's my personal idea. Now you know there are changes to the law of driving and of the winter tires, and there is changing to the law about the age of for example, retirement. We should all know about that. You know, one of the problems that I, as a professor in the Concordia University, I face that many of our children, of our kids, who are reaching the secondary 5, they don't know how to choose. They don't know how to choose the university which is good for them. There's less. I cannot say no, but less people teaching them how to deal with that. The fathers may not be that educated to deal with that. So what I'm saying is that there are many things which is we are living here with it. We should put it on the table of discussion. We should give lectures about that, so we can live with more productivity. So this is one of them. Thank you.